A lot of people, that would have been their first impression of Don Broco. Okay, so their singer is a cowboy.
Hey guys, James Wilson-Taylor here for Roxanne with the latest of our video calls, catching up with everybody while we're all stuck at home like this. I'm delighted to say that from Don Broco, Rob's on the line. How are you, mate?
All right, yeah.
Yeah, it's finding ways to adjust now, isn't it? It's kind of been a recurring theme in all of these chats. It's finding ways that you can keep working and keep making music and doing all that good stuff while you're at home, but also, yeah, just finding ways to keep going, occupy yourself. What does your lockdown routine look like in a minute, Rob?
So, I mean, we're quite lucky in many ways, being in the period we are in the album process, it hasn't been that different to what a kind of usual week would look like in many ways. I mean, seeing all the bands that were having to cancel tours and, rearrange, like, just so many, releases coming out this week, that was, I was really feeling for so many of our friends who were going through that. When you've worked so hard, sometimes to hit a very tight deadline as well, and then suddenly that's pulled from under you. I can't even imagine sort of the mental anguish that must be causing. And for us, it was kind of strange because we just gotten into the studio to start recording some of the ideas that we've been putting together over the last few months. So we had to kind of cut that a little bit short, but most of the time we're writing a bit from home. We're then meeting up with the guys. We do a bit of a show and tell, our writing process kind of works like that in many ways. We'll write separately, we'll write together, we'll mix it up. So taking the meeting up part out of the equation, we're still, luckily, having an album to write, it keeps you focused, and it keeps, structure within the day, within the week. So it hasn't changed, drastically. I'm sort of getting up, trying to force myself to do some exercise, go for a walk, or a run. The days that you have been, I have been taking my daily stroll. Honestly, it does make such a difference. You kind of just have this kind of mindset where you're like, okay, things aren't so weird, and getting that fresh air and a little kind of bit of physical exertion just kind of sets you up for the day. So you can, for me personally, I can sort of be sat on my laptop the rest of the day writing, figuring out stuff, writing lyrics, and it kind of doesn't feel as weird as it would. So yeah, we've been doing that, and then last few days we've been having chats very much like this on webcam with the rest of the guys. We tried out all these different various house party and Zoom.
There's a lot of options, man.
There's a lot of options, yeah.
Right now, yeah.
We ended up using, I mean, I'm not getting paid to say this, but we ended up using Zoom because you can kind of share your screen, which is actually, when we figured out you could do that, so, we can be working on an idea, recorded something, sharing the screen to each other. And it's like, it's amazing how productive you can actually be, with all four of you working on a song, chipping in different bits. I mean, sometimes the lag is a bit weird. So someone will get out the guitar and start playing something, and I'll try to be singing along to it. And there'll just be this time delay where, like, okay, this isn't working right now. So you can't quite have that kind of real life feel to it in that sense. But if you're sending across ideas, then it's okay. So yeah, we've been figuring that out, kind of getting to do that a few times a week, just to kind of talk to each other and talk to people has been really good, because it's tough being obviously just not having conversations with people every day.
Yeah, 100%. It's funny, actually, you mentioned that, because I did one of these with Danny from Bury Tomorrow the other day, and he said, I just think it's such a good way of phrasing it. It shouldn't be thinking about social distancing, because we need to be more social than ever, because we need that communication. It's physical distancing, yes, but socially, yeah, obviously we need to be communicating with each other more than ever. And that's really interesting, though, that you guys are at that stage of the album, because So far, I mean, I'm sure there'll be other artists out there, but that's the first I've heard of a band who are currently writing an album over Zoom. That is a brave new world we're in right now.
It is. It's weirdly like it has kind of trying to take the positives from all of this, and I find like trying to find any silver lining you can in this situation to make it better is you just got to hold on to that. So we're trying to think, okay, well, it might inject some sort of weird creative angle that we wouldn't have thought of, and we definitely get we get cabin fever very easily, but it's cabin fever in many ways. It's not just cabin fever of being inside doing the same thing for so long. It's the actual kind of surroundings and the process. So we find when we're writing, you need to mix up the kind of the angles you're coming from and the style. So we might even just being in a different house, like we'll go around to Size and we'll jam some stuff, and you might hit a brick wall or get a bit bored after a week. So then you'll just do it around my house, and then we'll go to Tom's or Matt's, and just that scenario helps. So yeah, maybe in like a month I'll be like, why do we have to be on Zoom? And I want to be smashing my computer, but
that's when you switch to house pie. That's when you start mixing up.
Switch to house pie, yeah. And then just multiple FaceTimes. Just go through every app you can.
Yeah, playing instruments down the phones on a big conference call, that kind of thing. It'll work. So in terms of the album, I know obviously you've been kind of working with ideas for a little while. Do you have any? I mean, what can you tell us? Have you got any songs completed yet, or are we still in kind of early stages?
We're still very early stages. We kind of we get quite bad at finishing songs. Like we'll have like a rough template that we're really happy when we get to that point. I'll normally get some lyrics and some vocals that we're kind of like 80-90% sure on, and that's usually the point where that final 10% for us, I don't know how other bands work, of finishing the song is the most annoying bit. So we'll be like, we'll push that to later. We'll be like, we'll carry on starting to write, another song. So we've got a lot of like 90% finished songs where they just need that kind of annoying, maybe structural change, which is the hardest part, where you've got all these ideas you love. You finally have something you're all stoked about, and then you're like, this song is 9 minutes long and has like 10 different choruses.
That sounds great. This sounds amazing already.
And then you think, wait a minute, we're going to have to like, the horrible part is when you have to like be decisive and maybe remove certain sections to help the flow of the song, which is the horrible part where you like, you're saying goodbye to this thing that you love, but for the good of the song, you've got to say no. So that bit we hate. So we put that off to the very end of the process and kind of start another song. So I'd say we've got a couple songs like that. We've got maybe two now completely recorded, a third almost on the way. That's what we were doing the week when the isolation actually happened. We were in putting together, actually kind of getting to the stage where we were, set on all the vocals, which is usually the last part. So yeah, hopefully over the next 2 weeks that's getting mixed. So we'll at least have like 2 or 3 that we're like, these are solid. Our producer, one of our producers and mixers, Dan, actually got ill that week. So he kind of left the studio a day early and was like, okay, I got a bit of a cough. I should probably take some time out. And that was like 2 weeks ago, and he's just started feeling better now. So that's kind of put a little bit of a kind of halt on that and slowed everything down. But I mean, that's the crazy thing now. We don't know. Timelines have kind of gone out the window. We don't know when we're going to, be allowed back together to actually record it. And, you can do a lot over the internet these days, but, record part of the thing, we were really excited for this album is actually really capture, a live sound and experiment back in the studio. We were kind of really excited to actually play live together for a little bit, which doesn't always work. Sometimes it does, stuff always sounds like better. I think, it can sound so perfect and sound incredible. It's hard to sometimes dial it back and go for the realer sound. But if you can find that balance of sounding incredibly massive, and polished and incredible to listen to, and the feel of it of being together in a room, and just experimenting with real amps and pedals and drum, different drum kits and drum sounds, like that is that's really fun. We didn't do that much on the last album. The last album was very much kind of recorded in onto a computer, went to the studio, got it done. So it would be hard to say goodbye to that idea, which we really wanted to sort of have fun with on this album. So hopefully, when the isolation situation's lifted, then we can just book some studio time and get back and record it. Because
I mean, fingers crossed. But I guess that's the thing. You do what you can in the situation you have, and maybe it will just be a case of, you might find it's the fastest recording process you ever have now. If you've got everything ready to go, and then just let's turn it around that quick, maybe.
I mean, that is the kind of crazy thing. It's like we had certain kind of timelines built in, and especially with Slam Dunk, that was that was literally just around the corner. Originally we were thinking, right, we need to get as much ready before that, because we kind of know what we're like as well. Once you start playing and you kind of you switch modes and you start going into kind of live band mode, it's very hard to then go back into that creative space, for us anyway. So we kind of had that kind of time limit on the album, which we kind of put on ourselves, but that it felt like the right sort of time. Being said, we were still kind of, you end up maybe rushing things and not having everything quite where you want it, which is never going to be the case. There's always got to be a cut-off point. But I felt like that was maybe a little bit early. So like the fact that now Slam Dunk's been pushed back, and we found this time on our hands. Again, we're trying to see the silver lining. We just want to use this time to be completely prepared and just have the best album we've ever written, which is always the goal. But circumstances sometimes mean you have to close a song down because you're like, there's something that you want to do something. There's something else that could make that song maybe just a little bit better, or a route you want to go down, and you just physically don't have the time. So we're hoping with this lockdown, we can just be the best band and write the best album, be the most creative we've ever been. So
it's good to hear. It's good to hear. It's exciting because we love technology, obviously, and what a huge success that was for you. And it really did. I mean, we've talked about this before, but it really did feel like you were taking up a level in terms of your ambition. You really wanted this to be a bigger thing and a bigger sound and everything. It's nice to hear that will continue forward. And before we kind of get talking about the rest of the year and all that stuff, I do want to jump back because I've not chatted to you in a while, and I have to talk about Action, because what a huge song that was, man. Absolutely brilliant track. Talk to me about where and when that one actually came together.
So that was that actually was a song that was written very gradually over the course of a year. So kind of like I was saying, when we're not in album writing mode, it definitely it's so stop-starty, and you kind of we've tried writing on the road, and it's a nightmare. Bands who do it, I just I take my hat off to you, because you get on a tour, you play the show, you're knackered after the show, or you're so buzzed you're chatting to people, and you're kind of trying to unwind afterwards. And the next day, me personally, I can never get to sleep as well. So you don't get to sleep because you're buzzed from the show. You end up kind of waking up really late the next day. Before you know it, you're in sound check, and then you need to eat, and then you need to play the show. So you might find an hour here and there to start writing. So we were basically writing that song over over a year.
Wow. Just in
And
little pieces here and there.
so many pieces, yeah. So many, and we were kind of not putting too much pressure on it, because we were like, there was the album was out. We were kind of just, if we get something from this, then great. And it was a song it was a song that kind of, the idea started on Warped Tour, actually. So yeah, so not the summer gone, the summer before that, where I hit this kind of wall of just being absolutely kind of destroyed physically and mentally after it was the stretch where it was like, it wasn't, in my mind now, it's like 2 months of non-stop. It wasn't 2 months. It couldn't have been that long.
Yeah, it was like, surely. Yeah. I'm trying to think how many weeks it was.
Maybe there was basically one stretch where there were no days off, and it was like every day.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think every band on that tour, I've been like, you might do like a week and a half, and then you have a day off. And then that's usually the max you'll ever do. And even that's like really tough. But it was at that point on Warped Tour, and I was finding it really hard to just kind of like motivate myself to like be sociable, because you're just so tired all the time, and you kind of it's very easy to, even with so many like friends around, and by that point in the tour is where you made so many mates, there's still so much going on, but it was very easy to kind of just kind of go back into kind of like your shell and your safety zone of your bunk in your bandwagon, like binge watch some Netflix on your phone, and kind of retract into yourself. And with so many people around as well, you're constantly getting messages like, we're doing a barbecue, we're going to have some drinks, we're going to play some Smash Brothers, like, let's do something. And it was like this kind of just wake up call to myself, where I was like, you've got to sometimes give yourself a little bit of a kick to motivate yourself and put yourself out there. And that kind of snaps you out of the funk you might have been in. And, it kind of just a kind of, self-motivational, you only live once kind of tune. And the song was so kind of just simple and, raw and primal. It's just a very basic tune with just a fun riff and shout along song. So it kind of captured that energy for me that Warped Tour brought. And again, just kind of being in that environment with all the bands around, I was like, this would be a sick tune to have a load of guest features on. And when we actually recorded the song months later, I got on the phone to Tyler from Issues. We were gonna originally try and have it out before the tour we did with them. That was the original plan, but I can't remember if we couldn't get it recorded in time or something. But just hit up everyone in turn. Caleb from Beartooth, Taka from One OK Rock, and when we actually, and then when we were on the Dance Gavin Dance tour, which was this time last year actually, we were on the tour, and we already had the song ready to go and the video planned. We were shooting it during the tour, and I was like, Tillian, do you want to be on the song as well? And played it to him, and he was keen to get involved. And we recorded his parts backstage, and he was around to be in the video as well. So it all came together kind of really organically, and it was just a real fun song to play on that tour. And I think it's nice, especially for us, when you have had an album, even if it's only been out like a year or 2 years, when you can kind of mix up the set and just keep things fresh and bring new tunes into the mix, it makes us happy, and it keeps people who've seen us a few times as well, especially in the States, where we toured maybe like 5 tours on this album cycle.
For sure. A lot of dates out there.
This tour was the first, this album was the first album that we've really sort of gotten out to America. So we've been hammering over there. So a lot of people might have seen us like 2 or 3 times a year. So for us to be able to mix up the set for them, it was cool.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so funny hearing you talk about Action there, because like you're talking about needing motivation to not, retreat into yourself, being more collaborative. This is the most appropriate story for now. I had never realized that. Yeah. Of course it is. It's like so many people going through exactly the same thing of feeling like, no, actually I need to give myself a kick up the ass for want of a better phrase, than actually getting out there and collaborating with people and all that stuff. That's amazing.
You definitely, yeah. I mean, for me, I had a bit of a funk day I think it was last Saturday. It was just one of those days where it was like really hard to see the positives in anything, and you're looking at the world around you and you're just thinking, this is fucked. Like it's sometimes really hard to sort of get past that with everything going on. And what has been great as well is it's kind of forced people to chat to each other more, because everyone's so busy with their usual day-to-day lives. Like, I've probably talked to my friends more and had more FaceTimes with them than I would in my usual life. And Saturday we had like a pub quiz set up with a load of my friends who, we'll meet up and see each other now and then, but it's like we don't see each other as much as we'd like to. But that kind of forced it. It was in the diary. It was like, okay, 8:00, we're meeting up, we're setting up this pub quiz, everyone bring a drink. And I was not in the mood for it as well. I'd had a kind of shitty day. I was like, I really just can't be fucked with this right now. I just want to be alone. But having that there and kind of forcing myself to do that and see all my friends in that environment, honestly, within like 5 minutes, it kind of turned my night around, and I was, made you so grateful for your friends and everyone who's there and kind of, getting through this together. So yeah. It's so important. I think even if you don't want to, just pick up the phone, get on your FaceTime, set up a house party or a Zoom with a load of mates, and it really does just kind of get you through it. And it helps you kind of reconnect with people that you might not have spoken to in a while. So
100%, man. Yeah, we're all in this together. You kind of forget that. It really is it's a community thing that we're building here. Absolutely. It's very, very important. Talking about live stuff, as you mentioned, all those live dates, we have to look back on those incredible arena shows, man. What a tour that was, my word. And again, just the absolute ambition of you guys. You really did go, you know what, we're not just going to do an arena show, we're going to do an arena show. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was B stages, the cowboy was very much present and correct. Talk to me about putting together the particular aspects for that arena tour.
Yeah, I mean, being the first arena tour we'd ever done, it was, there's so many more things to think about. And it was like, it kind of takes it out of a sweaty rock show to like an event. It's like, you have to, I mean, I've seen bands who don't do this, and to be fair, they can just put on an incredible show and play it pretty straight. But we do like theatrics. We do like to have fun, and it was kind of marrying together. How do we marry together, like, the energy of our usual live show with the scope of having like a B stage, having pyro and video screens and lasers, and how can you make that work together and still feel like a complete experience? And yeah, I mean, I've got to say, the cowboy was the man who brought it all together, because we were looking back on the album, and I think what was funny about this album, it was so kind of put together in piecemeal. We'd had, everybody was a song, like almost the first song from the album, but that had come out like previous, a few years before. We were basically kind of almost reinventing our usual model of putting out music, as well as the sound for the album. We were kind of approaching releasing music in a completely different way. So that we were just putting out song after song after song. And there was no real, like, there was kind of like, we had the artwork, and we had like this kind of overall kind of technology theme of this kind of, I guess, almost kind of like, I guess, an experience rather than a specific, this is what it is. It was a theme within the album that kind of linked a lot of songs together. But I mean, even the artwork is just nuts. It was like, we were just throwing shit together as we went, not really thinking about anything too much. And it was when we were putting together the show that we were like, what has really, for us, what is the main thing that's really kind of united this album, that has brought us so much joy personally, creatively? that isn't just the music, and it was the cowboy. Like we love that guy.
He's an absolute dude, man, and he knows how to bring a performance as well.
Really
Like that guy sells those moments on stage.
And yeah, we'd had him on. He's from Atlanta, in America, and he'd come out to the Atlanta show on Warped Tour, and kind of done a little guest appearance on that show. Popped out, kind of pretended to sing the first song while I was hiding behind an amp. And yeah, honestly, like I've got a props to the Waterparks guys, because they were the guys who had the idea. We were like, we're going to bring him out to the show. You know, what should we do? And Austin was like, you should get him to sing the first song, and you can just mime it. And I was like, I am stealing that idea for sure, trying it out. And it was just so fun. Like it was ridiculous. Half the crowd didn't know what was going on. We'd also been bumped to the main stage that show, and it was torrential downpour. So we were playing to this packed main stage, and a lot of people, that would have been their first impression of Don Broco. Okay, so their singer is a cowboy who does not look like he should be in this band. But
I remember seeing the footage of that, man, and it was just a glorious moment as you came up behind him. It's just the pair of you together at the front of the stage. So great. So funny.
Great. And he got in the pit as well, and he was like, people were just circle pitting around him. And that day gave us so much joy. We were like, we can't not at least ask him if he wants to be part of this and bring it to the arenas. So yeah, we called him up, and he was just so down for it. So once we had that in place, it was kind of building it, structuring the set so it's not like cowboy overkill, but bringing him out at the right points and kind of punctuating the set in the right moments, and like having dancers on stage for the Greatness video, from the Greatness video, because that was fun. Hard because we hadn't done that dance since that day, and me and Tom aren't natural dancers, and like it's like learning like a dance routine is really, I mean,
that's tough work. That's tough work.
Really tough. If you're not used to like picking up moves, and I'm very slow at learning things anyway, to get your body to move, you know, like getting up on stage and jumping around and kind of letting yourself go in the moment. I can do that. That's fine. I can headbang. That's good for me. I can jump.
It's a solid move. Headbang's a solid dance move. That'll do. It'll serve you well.
Yeah, you can do that and get away with it, and like do it at different times in the set, and no one's going to notice. And you don't want every show to be the same. So it's a good thing. But when it comes to actual dance moves, you have to be doing the moves at the same time. So we had like a day to relearn that, which was quite stressful on the road. But yeah, all in all, you know, that combined with the actual kind of staging and everything, and learning like, okay, there's like 4 times as much room on this stage to kind of, you know, to fill and move about in. The first few nights of that, we were knackered because we were just running around so much more than we usually would. But yeah, honestly, like still looking back on, you know, it's the best thing we've ever done as a band. You know, finishing on Wembley as well was kind of stressful, being the London show and being Wembley, and being the place that I'd seen so many bands, you know, play growing up. Like I think my first big show was Foo Fighters there, and I'd seen Blink there as well. My first crowd surf was Blink 182, and yeah, so Wembley, it's Wembley. So being the last show, it was like the pressure was building up. But by that point as well, all the kind of, all the kind of the points to fine tune in the set and learning how things are actually coming together had kind of been nailed. So we actually felt so ready and could just enjoy the show. So yeah, best show we've ever played, and yeah, we loved it. So it's going to be great to finally get back out and and
This is it, man. Can't wait to see you guys back out on the road. And obviously, initially, Slam Dunk in September, which is going to be fantastic. Thank goodness we've been able to have that rescheduled and everything. That's really, really exciting.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing that. Looking forward to hearing what you come up with in quarantine now as well, man. Looking forward to this new music, all that good stuff. And I guess we'll leave it with, stay safe, and to you and the guys, all the best to you. And hopefully we'll see you face to face very, very soon, I hope.
Yes, fingers crossed.
Absolutely, man. All right, good to chat to you. All right, Rob,
good chat. Thanks for having me. See ya.